Picture this. The air inside Buckingham Palace still lingers with the grace and discipline of Queen Elizabeth. Her presence, though gone, hasn't really left. Her legacy is etched into every gilded frame, every velvet curtain. But now, just as the kingdom adjusts to life without her, someone dares to tweak her legacy. And not just anyone. It's Queen Camilla. Fresh from her coronation, glowing in newfound power, Camilla tried to slip in what seemed like a harmless change, a tiara ban. Sounds small, right? But to those inside the palace, especially Princess Anne, it wasn't small. It was the first warning shot. And Anne? Oh, Anne wasn't going to let it slide. Anne has always been the monarchy's backbone. Quiet, disciplined, the workhorse who never needed drama or headlines. But when Camilla decided no princesses should wear tiaras at royal events, Anne saw through it. This wasn't modernization. This was control. And let's not forget, Camilla had just been crowned, not even with Queen Elizabeth's crown, but Queen Mary's. Close enough to make her feel powerful, but not quite the real deal. Yet, apparently, it still wasn't enough. According to whispers inside palace walls, she wanted more. She wanted Queen Elizabeth's legacy for herself. Most importantly, the crown meant for someone else entirely. Now, the crown is no ordinary jewel. It's living history, royal DNA forged in diamonds and tradition. Camilla may hold the title of queen, but deep down, she knew this crown was never hers. That honor belonged to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, the woman Queen Elizabeth admired, trusted, and prepared as the monarchy's true future. So, when Camilla hinted at incorporating parts of Elizabeth's crown into her own regalia, whether to wear, display, or modernize, Princess Anne acted. No shouting, no public drama, just a moment behind palace doors where she delivered her quiet but deadly blow. That crown is not yours. That crown is for Catherine Boom, the quietest mic drop in royal history. What makes Anne stand so powerful is how uncharacteristic it was. She usually avoids drama like the plague. But this was duty. And for Anne, duty always wins. The tiara ban, it turned out, wasn't a last-minute idea. It was a part of Camilla's long game. She wrapped it up in modern language, saying the monarchy needed a less is more aesthetic. But insiders whispered the truth. It was about making sure no one, especially Catherine, could outshine her. And it worked, at first. On Coronation Day, all the royal women turned up tiara-free. Catherine wore a floral headpiece. Elegant? Absolutely. Regal? Of course, but still subdued. That wasn't Catherine's choice. That was Camilla's influence dripping all over it. Anne, however, noticed where this was headed. This wasn't just about one event. Reports say Camilla wanted the no tiara rule to extend to all royal functions. Permanently. Imagine that. An entire era of royal women stripped of the sparkle that tied them to centuries of queens before them. All because one woman wanted to hog the spotlight. Anne wasn't having it. When Camilla later floated the idea of repurposing Queen Elizabeth's crown, Anne fired back in her famously blunt style. No yelling, no paragraphs. Just one line. That's for future Queen Catherine. One line that thundered through the palace halls like a church bell. Because with that, Anne wasn't just defending Catherine. She was defending tradition, the past, the future, and the crown itself. But oh, this story doesn't stop there. That single confrontation set off ripples through the palace. Subtle, deliberate, but unmistakable. Who wore what? Who smiled at whom? Who skipped certain events? Suddenly, all of it mattered. And for Camilla, this was a sting she couldn't ignore. She had clawed her way from tabloid villain to crowned queen. To finally be told she couldn't touch that crown, the crown tied to the queen she technically replaced, it must have burned. And sources say, oh yes, it did. But Camilla isn't the type to lash out. Instead, she doubled down. She scheduled private meetings, courted old allies, whispered about future appearances. But here's the twist. It backfired. Because while Camilla played palace politics, Anne didn't have to. Her credibility was already carved into Buckingham Palace marble. A lifetime of service, scandal-free, respected by everyone. When Anne speaks, the palace listens. Even King Charles knew better than to overrule his sister on royal tradition, especially this one. And just like that, Charles was stuck between two women. His wife, the queen he had finally placed on the throne, and his sister, the rock who had held up the monarchy long before Camilla was even in the picture. His public solution? Stay neutral. But palace insiders swear his heart leaned quietly toward Anne, because Charles knew the truth. That crown was never Camilla's. Instead of stirring the pot, Charles shifted focus. He began meeting with William and Catherine more often, conversations about ceremonial roles, jewelry access, preservation of royal treasures. Suddenly, all of that was on the agenda. Without a word, the palace was repositioning itself. And guess what? All roads pointed to Catherine. For years, Catherine has played her role with flawless precision. Always graceful, always measured, never too loud, never too political. But now, she felt the weight, the eyes, the subtle nods. She hadn't asked Anne to defend her, but she knew what it meant. Anne's stand wasn't just family loyalty. It was confirmation. Catherine wasn't just a princess anymore. She was the real future. Behind the scenes, their bond deepened. Anne and Catherine, two women from different royal eras, found each other. They both revered Queen Elizabeth. They both understood what she stood for. They met more often, spoke more candidly, and insiders say their alliance grew unshakable. And Anne made sure Catherine wasn't just symbolic. She backed her with action, securing heirlooms, inserting her into state event discussions, guiding her through arcane royal protocols only Anne could teach. It was mentorship, but with the full force of palace muscle behind it. And Camilla, she noticed? Oh, she noticed. Camilla's public smile never slipped. She still curtsied when she needed to, still waved with that queenly grace. But insiders caught the cracks. The way her eyes lingered just a second longer on Catherine during events. The tone shift whenever Anne's name crept into a conversation. She wasn't losing the title of queen, but she was losing something even more important: control. The tiara ban, Camilla's proudest modernizing move, started to crumble. Slowly at first, then all at once. A few months after the coronation, Princess Eugenie appeared at a gala wearing a delicate diamond tiara from the vault. Then Beatrice followed at another function, her tiara unmistakably Windsor, unapologetically traditional. No official announcement reversed the rule. Nobody made a big deal. But the jewels were back, and nobody, absolutely nobody, challenged it. Because Anne had set the tone. Camilla may have been queen, but Anne had drawn the invisible line. For Catherine, the shift was life-changing. It wasn't just about crowns or ceremonies anymore. Every appearance she made, every handshake, every charity visit, people weren't just seeing a princess, they were seeing a future queen. And thanks to Anne's intervention, that future looked solid, almost inevitable. The most symbolic moment came far away from cameras and flashing bulbs. A family gathering at Balmoral. No state carriages, no photographers, just relatives around a long oak table. And in that quiet, Anne performed the gesture that sealed everything. She brought out a small box wrapped in pale blue cloth. Inside, a sapphire and diamond brooch that had belonged to Queen Elizabeth herself. A personal favorite, rarely seen in public. Anne didn't make a speech, she didn't need to. She simply handed it to Catherine with a nod. To the untrained eye, it was just a brooch. But to those who understood the secret language of royalty, it was monumental. This wasn't just jewelry. This was a blessing, an informal transfer of trust. A private signal that Catherine wasn't just in line. She was the one. And it didn't come from Charles or the courtiers. It came from Anne, the woman who had served beside Elizabeth longer than anyone. From that moment, Catherine's confidence grew, her speeches sharper, her presence more grounded. At a children's hospital visit, she pinned that very brooch to her navy coat. Most people didn't notice, but the ones who did, they knew exactly what it meant. Catherine was stepping into her destiny, and Anne had made sure the path was clear. Meanwhile, Camilla carried on, graceful, composed, ever the queen in public. But even she understood now, her influence had limits. She held the crown by title, but the respect, the real currency in the monarchy, belonged to Anne. And the public saw it too. Royal watchers, historians, even social media exploded with praise for Anne. Not because she made a loud, dramatic scene, but because she preserved something sacred. She reminded everyone that the crown isn't just gold and diamonds. It's continuity, it's memory, it's legacy. Anne never gave a statement. She never had to. Her silence was the statement. Her actions had already carved themselves into royal history. And so the palace carried on into its next chapter. New challenges, shifting traditions, fresh faces. But Anne's move remained a cornerstone. She wasn't a rebel, wasn't a critic. She was the protector, the one who guarded not just Catherine, but the crown itself. And Catherine? When her day finally comes, when she steps onto that Buckingham balcony in full regalia, with the weight of the crown resting firmly on her head, she'll know one thing: she didn't get there alone. Because somewhere in the shadows of royal history, her path was cleared by the woman who quietly but fiercely told the world, "This crown is not yours. It belongs to Catherine." So tell me, what do you think? Was Princess Anne right to step in and protect Catherine's future crown? Or did Camilla go too far trying to rewrite tradition? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this royal drama is only just heating up. And if you love the inside scoop on palace power plays, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and ring the bell so you never miss a single twist in the monarchy's most explosive stories.